Hello and welcome back to Wolf and Friends Gaming. Today we're doing another top 10, except this time we're actually focusing on a specific game, doing the top 10 Super Smash Bros. Characters, and of course we're talking about all 4 or 5 Super Smash Bros. Games, including the newest one that has some characters as DLC. So we'll start off with our number 10. A pink puffball known as Kirby. Yes, Kirby is number 10, so obviously there's a lot better characters than him, but the reason why he's on our list is because he's a fun character to play around with, especially when you have 4 people and 3 people are Kirby, and you try to harvest the other one. His main ability, or his B ability, is he has the power to absorb another person's power just by sucking them in. Also, if you don't, to do that you have to press down, but if you want to shoot them back out, you can. You can also suicide with him by sucking a person in and then falling off with them still inside of you. All of his other moves are pretty genius as well, especially when they incorporate them into Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, where you can actually get the Smash ability. So of course Kirby, the Puffball, he's a very good character, and if you're new to it, you might want to pick Kirby, because he's not that hard to know all the combos for. All of his grab attacks are funny, and especially when he taunts and breaks the 4th wall. So, with the Puffball out of the way, we go to our number 9. My favorite character, Fox McCloud, son of James McCloud from the Star Fox series. Now, the reason Fox is on this list is because he's another fun character to play around with. In Stamina mode, that is one of the best places you could train with this guy and win, because his B move, although it doesn't cause people to flinch, it still does some damage, and you can spam it like crazy. His other moves are good for recovery and also against projectiles with his reversal move. However, his A combo moves are also pretty good, but the reason why it's so low is because in the latest games, his speed has been upgraded so much that it can also be hard to control him, and especially with his Foxfire ability, it's hard to actually control the direction with it. Even in the newest game, if you hold down B, you can get a much larger fire, but if you don't know that and you're so far down, there's no way you could possibly survive. So, Fox McCloud, super agent from outer space who is also an animal. We now go to our number 8. That's right, the protagonist from Mother 2, Ness. Although he's probably one of the youngest characters in Super Smash Bros., he's also a very good character. You can do quite a bit of combos with him, and if you're facing him and Samus, or if you guys are just facing each other, it's actually pretty good for him if you know how to use his down B, since he can absorb any kind of projectile that isn't a physical entity, so like energy kind of thing. However, they copied Lucas from him pretty much, but aside from that, his B moves are all pretty good if you know how to use them. His PK Fire can leave the person burning, so that way you can use your baseball bats. You can also save yourself with the up B to launch yourself either through opponents or to opponents, or just hit yourself if you're falling in any kind of direction. Also, if you are with Mr. Game & Watch, Mr. Game & Watch can hold out his bucket while you fill it with fire, and then Game & Watch can throw out lava onto the opponents. So, with the youngest character out of the way, we go to our number 7, who a lot of people will recognize easily. The driver of F-Zero, Captain Falcon. Although for some reason he has a pistol and he never uses that, I don't know why they even designed him with it, he is mainly he's sort of a tanky character. Ganondorf's move set is sort of copied from him, but the only difference is that Captain Falcon is a lot faster, and which also leads to him being uncontrollable if you just keep running around or if you play in lightning mode. His most well-known move is his normal B attack, the Falcon Punch, as you all know. His down B is the Falcon Kick. Both moves are pretty good. Falcon Kick is good if you're high up in the air because you can come crashing down on your opponents. His side B allows him to recover, as well as his up B, but if you miss with the up B, you're pretty much going to fall to your death. Not only that, but his physical moves are also pretty strong, with his normal just knee attack can launch opponents far if they're at a high death percentage, like any other move. And as I said before, his biggest downfall is his speed, but I mean, it's not like you're going to be running around a whole lot.
Now we move on to our number 6 on this list of Super Smash Bros. Characters. The Master Swordsman Marth from the Fire Emblem series. Surprisingly, Marth actually has the most realistic fighting skills of all these characters, being mostly sword slashes and sword jabs, and of course the Sky Sword. Mostly, of course, he relies on his sword, as you might have guessed, but not many people were familiar with his series when it first came out. In fact, Japan agreed to release Marth because they wanted Americans to get into the Fire Emblem series before actually shipping it to America. And boy, were we interested. Marth is one of the greatest characters, and he's very powerful, being a master swordsman, as I keep saying. However, his sword has abilities, of course, to launch enemies and send them flying if you go up. But Marth is probably one of the most intense characters, being a master swordsman, of course. But he also has other moves, too, as well, mostly kicks, but the sword is pretty much everything that gives him his power, but it does make him an interesting character. Now we move on to our number 5. Roy from Fire Emblem as well. Roy pretty much has the same moves as Marth, being slashes and jabs and sky swords, with his own weapon, a sword. However, he actually has powers in his attacks, mostly flame powers that come from the sword itself, which does give him an edge over Marth by a lot. A lot of people prefer Roy over Marth, considering that his attacks pack a bigger punch than him. However, like character-wise, they describe Roy as not as strategic as Marth, but he does pack the power necessary, is why players like him a lot more. Roy is now a DLC for the next Smash Bros. Game, which of course pisses people off because you're going to have to pay for him now, when he was an unlockable in Super Smash Bros. Melee, which is one game everybody liked him in. However, Roy is pretty likable actually, and very powerful, and he's the most commonly used character in the games. Now, let's move on to our number 4 on this list.
The assassin from the Metal Gear, Solid Snake. Alongside a Snake Eye in the game, which he doesn't use at all, he's also a very tactical character, as with a lot of his moves, you not only need to be close to the opponent, but you can actually stand away from them. His side B allows you to control a rocket, which is pretty fun until you run out of fuel. That's actually if you do. His up B is very good because it can save you out of the most dangerous fall ever, since you can actually fly with it longer than any other character's up B lasts. You can also set C4 charges, which if you know how to use them, you can place them in locations, trap opponents somehow, and then while you're away from the area, activate it and hit your opponents while not even being there. His taunt is also a very good homage to his own games, as he hides under the box. So if you want to play a tactical kind of character, Snake is the man, especially with his final smash where he leaves the map entirely, comes to the front of the screen, and he can use a grenade launcher to attack your opponents. Pretty cheap, but he's still a pretty good character.
Number 3. Mr. Game & Watch. Yes, people, Mr. Game & Watch has managed to make it on number 3 on this list. However, before you get angry that he outranked Solid Snake, there are some reasons why he actually outranks him. First off, Mr. Game & Watch packs a lot more weapons than Solid Snake. Most of them are, of course, cartoony attacks, found in his popular Game & Watch series. You probably never heard of the Game & Watch because it's really old and outdated, and before even the NES system. But Mr. Game & Watch is a classic. A lot of people like him because of his unique design, where he's two-dimensional. However, people love him for his arsenal. He packs a lot of hammers, shock attacks, flags, and of course regular household items. My personal favorite is the bacon attack, which I commonly spam attack against my opponents. However, he uses regular items as everyday weapons that no one would use, which kind of makes him really awesome. However, his number 9 attack hammer is what packs an instant kill, which is the reason why he's so liked, because he has the power to instantly kill someone while others have to work up that strength in order to finish off opponents. Now with the flat two-dimensional character out of our way, we'll move on to our number 2. Samus Aran from the Metroid series. Samus is probably the most badass character in this game, considering that she's a girl, but she's more tougher than the men. Yes, she even beats Solid Snake on this list because she packs her own military weapon. Of course, her weaponry is from the future, which gives her another punch increase, much more than Solid Snake. Samus can load her cannon up and fire a giant beam at her enemies, and then the new game introduced the Zero Suit Samus, although not packing as much power or defense as the suited up Samus. This one moves much faster, has her own charge gun, and uses gadgets more often than the regular design Samus, which packs a suit. Of course, a lot of people like Zero Suit Samus because it made us realize that Samus is a girl, but we all like the suited up Samus just as much too because of her ultimate power where she fires a giant laser beam at enemies. However, Samus is very well liked for being one of the only tough girls in the game, much more tougher than Peach, and actually a bit more easy to control than Zelda, and more interesting than the Wii Trainer. Now, we move on to our number 1 on this list. Who could it be? Who could outrank Samus and Snake? Link, from the Legend of Zelda series. You knew this was coming. Link has been in every game as the most awesome character in each one. He packs his own arsenal of weapons too, consisting of his sword, it's not the Infinity Sword, his bow and arrow, and his bombs, and I believe he also packs a jug of milk as young Link that he drinks. Let's not forget the boomerang too, that thing is cool. Throw the boomerang at enemies, it comes right back at you. However, Link is probably the most powerful character because he's so powerful that he has, the Triforce in him. However, my friend Wolf actually prefers the young Link because young Link moves much faster than regular Link. And the downside is Toon Link. Toon Link is too stupid to take seriously and very hard to control compared to regular-sized Link. However, the regular Link and young Link are considered the most popular because they both pack the same arsenal and are very good looking in the battlefield, considering that they're very forward in their attacks. But yes, Link is one of the best characters in the Smash Bros. Series.
So if all 10 of those out of the way, we look at the honorable mentions on the baby unorthodox, what we've done before.
Anybody who is not Olimar or Princess Peach.
That's right. Every other character outranks these two.
Yes, for starters, Olimar relies on his Pikmin. You have to diminish all the Pikmin at once in order to actually harm Olimar. And other than that, his attacks suck except for his special move.
And Peach is a character that I don't really take that seriously since all of her attacks are very feminine ever since the 1940s. Plus her reversal is using a hostage toad.
Well, thank you for watching. We hope you like, comment, and subscribe, and join us for future videos. Goodbye.